Hi guys, it's Katie and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at Stake, which is a US investment app. So we'll talk about what Stake is, what I think of it, my experience of using it, and then lastly we'll take a look into my account so that you can see what it looks like and how you use it. So let's start with what Stake is. Stake is an investment app that allows you to buy US stocks. So it's both individual stocks and ETFs from the States, and they have over 3,800 available. They have two types of investment account. They have a free general investment account and they also have a premium account, which I believe is called a Stake Black. But today we're just going to be looking at the free general investment account because that is the one that I have. Before I begin, I just want to do a quick mention that I have a referral code so that if anyone wants to open up a Stake account, then they can get a free share, and I will get a free share as well. We both get one, but you do have to open up an account using my referral code and deposit money within 24 hours. If you don't deposit the money within 24 hours, then you don't get the free share. So do look out for my referral code in the description below. So Stake is a US company that is based in the US and trades on the New York Stock Exchange in New York City on Wall Street, and therefore is in the New York time zone. You can use Stake in a couple of other countries, mainly the UK, Australia, New Zealand and in Latin America, but regardless of where you are, you will always be trading on the New York Stock Exchange opening hours, which is 9:30 till 4 New York time. If you're in the UK, then this is 5 hours behind us, so do be aware when trading that they don't have the same opening hours as the UK day. So that's essentially what Stake is, but I mostly wanted to talk about my review of it and the pros and cons that I have come across whilst using it. I've had Stake account for a couple of months. I opened it in November 2020, and to be fair, I don't have many negatives to say about it. I like it, I think it's really good, and I will continue to use it, but there are a couple of things I have come across that I would like to just mention. I wouldn't call them negatives as such, I would probably call them niggles. Because I don't think they're huge issues, and some of them, most of them probably, I only have 3 anyway, I think are probably just me personally. I'm not sure if they would be applicable to everyone, but I just wanted to mention them just in case. So my first little niggle is that it can take a while for money to be deposited into your account once that you have sent a deposit request. It can take up to 2 to 3 working days for money to appear in your account ready to invest. And this isn't really the problem as such. I think my niggle is more that you can pay extra for the money to appear faster, so it sort of seems like a little bit of a con and a little bit of way for them to try and get more money out of you. So it's 2 to 3 working days at a regular transfer speed, but if you want to pay for an express transfer fee, then you can pay to get the money appeared in like the next working day, I think. So as an example, I wrote down the times that I did a deposit last, and I did it on a Monday night, and it would take until Wednesday 1 PM New York time, which was 6 PM Wednesday UK time for the regular. But if I wanted to do the express, then it would be there by opening time the next working day in America, which would be 2 PM UK on Tuesday. So if you wanted to pay the extra, you could get your money overnight essentially, but if you wanted to just pay the regular, then it would be Wednesday that you would get your money. And I don't think this is a huge issue because, I mean, 1.5 working days, 2 days isn't the end of the world. To be honest, you are sending money from the UK over to America, and obviously the 2 different countries and the different banks have to talk to each other, and I understand it's not going to be instant, but it just seems like a way that they are trying to make more money. And again, I understand that they have to make money, but it doesn't sit right with me. And another thing is that they have a minimum of a $2 charge for the express fee, or a 0.5% charge, but the minimum is $2, and the value that you get your money's worth, so like 0.5 equaling $2, is £300, which I'm not investing £300 in at a go. Some people might be, but I'm investing sort of £100 a month, so it's not worth it for the $2 in comparison to the 0.5% charge. I don't know if this is making any sense at all. I might be talking absolute pish, but it's making sense in my head. But they have caught me out because it's really tempting to want your money straight away. I want to deposit and then I want to get investing. So that is my first issue. Make that what you will. Okay, Okay, on to the second niggle, which is definitely just a niggle and not a big negative, because I think, to be honest, this is just a me problem, but I'm going to share it anyway because some of you might share my thought patterns here. It would be interesting to see if you guys think that I'm just being pedantic or if I actually have a valid point here. But on their website they show and advertise themselves as being free trade, which I know a lot of platforms do, and they are right, they do offer free trading, but I just believe that they're not entirely transparent or very clear about what exactly their costs are. At first glance anyway, once obviously you click onto what their charges are, they do explain it, they don't lie, they're not making any false claims about their charges or anything. But I just think the way it's written is slightly misleading. So let me show you a screenshot of their website. So firstly, on the left, you'll see that it says no brokerage fee, and this is essentially a trading or a transaction fee, and this is correct. There aren't any, you don't have to pay for a trade, that's why it's called a free trade website. And then secondly, in the middle, they say no foreign exchange fees, FX fees on trades, which is again technically true because they don't have to pay an extra transaction cost or anything. They transfer your money and convert it for free, so that is true. And then lastly, fractional shares. I haven't tried the fractional shares, but I believe it to be true, and I don't see any issues with that one as such. But my issue is that they do charge 0.5% on both deposits and withdrawals on any money going in and out of your investment account. So you don't have to pay any fees when it comes to actual investing and doing trades, that's all free, but they do charge you for depositing or withdrawing money. So it's 0.5 on your money going in and then another 0.5% charge on your money coming out, so overall a 1% charge on all of the money that you invest. Which I don't think is a huge problem, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they charge a ridiculous amount of money and it's out of order and they shouldn't be charging this much. I understand and I agree that they have to make their money somehow, and I'm happy to pay it, but it's the way that it's sort of advertised, especially on their website. To me anyway, it seems like, at first glance, it looks like it's completely free, and they're very, I mean, I'm sure it's advertising, I suppose. They're trying to get people in and it works because you would look at that and you think, well, hey, that sounds great, it's too good to be true. Yeah, it sort of is. But anyway, moving on from that one as well, I think that might be just me going on a little rant. On to my last negative or niggle, and this is a little bit of an interesting one, I think. I'm not sure if many people will have picked up on this one. Again, this might just be me making a mountain out of a molehill, but I'm going to carry on and troop forwards. So I opened up a stake account with the sole purpose of investing in individual companies that are American, so access to get US specific stocks. And when I first opened up my account with Stake, I basically just searched a load of companies I was interested in buying and I just added them to my watch list, so sort of created like a wish list of stocks, if you like. And I would just type in companies and see if they were on there, and if they weren't, then obviously I assumed that they weren't a US stock. And if they were on there, then I assumed that they were a US stock and a US company that I was able to buy. So for example, I was searching for Nintendo and Samsung, which are both Chinese Japanese companies, and they didn't appear, so I assumed, okay, yeah, they're not American companies, they're not going to be on there. But I did find Sony on there, and in my head I knew this was a Japanese company, but I saw it on Stake and I thought, oh, that's on there, that's odd, I didn't think that was American, but oh well, I added it to my watch list, and maybe it's just me being naive. I thought, oh well, it's on there, it must be a US company. Or maybe they have like a separate US part of the company, a subsidiary that is owned by America. I wasn't too sure. What I didn't realise is that they actually have non-US stocks on there, but they are listed in dollars, and this confused me a little bit at first, and I had to do a little bit of research to understand what exactly was going on. But I found out that there is actually such a thing as an ADR, which some of you might be aware of. If you're not aware, is an American depository receipt. And I had to look up the definition for this because it's a little bit wordy, but it is a negotiable certificate of title to a number of shares in a non-US company which are deposited in an overseas bank. So in layman's terms, it's just a certificate to say that you own a stock in another country that is non-US. So it's an American receipt to say that you own a stock, but you don't actually own the stock. So instead of owning the actual stock, you own a receipt to say that you own the stock. Essentially it's the same thing, you're still owning it, it's still worth the same as the normal stocks, for example, and people buy it and trade it as a normal stock, but it doesn't actually count as a normal stock. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, on Stake they have these. For example, Sony, the one that I bought, would be an ADR because it's a Japanese company. So do be aware that they do have some stocks, I don't think there's many, but they do have some that are available that aren't US company owned. And I think my issue is that it didn't state on there that it was any different. It didn't state that it wasn't a US stock. I would have liked a little symbol that maybe said ADR, or a little sentence maybe that said, you know, this is not a US stock, this is a Japanese stock that is an ADR, you know. Something, I would like something. Alright, let's talk about some of the positives, because I think there are more positives than negatives, and I do actually really like the Stake app and I will continue to use it, and I think it is really good. So let's talk about that. Okay, number one, really easy, is that it's all done in dollars and it's not confusing to have to deal with two different currencies. So for example, on Free Trade they do have US stocks available on there, but because your account balance is in pounds, so when it comes to buying US stocks that are listed on their app, then they are all in dollars and your account balance is done in pounds, and you have to work out how much it will be in pounds. And doing it all in dollars on Stake is just so much easier because you deposit it and your account balance is in dollars, and then you're shopping in stocks that are in dollars, and it's all just so much easier. And also when it comes to depositing, you can put in British pounds amount to deposit, and then it will convert it before you confirm, so that you know how much dollars it will convert to, including the charges, so you can change it depending on how many dollars you want as well. On to positive number two, because it's a US investment app, they have a lot more US stocks available than other websites such as Free Trade and Trading 212, because they are solely dealing in US stocks. And for example, Free Trade are US and UK, so they have a mix of both, but US is all US stocks, so they have a lot more available to buy. Positive number three is that they have real-time trading, which I know Free Trade doesn't have. I'm not sure about Trading 212 because I don't have it, but I know Free Trade all save up their market orders and do them all at about 3 PM in the day and do them all at once, whereas Stake do them as they go, and you get real-time trading, so you can buy at that current price at that time, which is really good. And I do think that Free Trade at least used to treat this as an express feature, so you could pay extra to get real-time trading, whereas Stake is included in the general free investment account too. Lastly, positive number four is that you can set price limits when it comes to your trades, so you can set minimum or maximum parameters when you want to do a trade order, which is really good. I will show you these on the app when I show you my account in a second, but I will just talk you through, because they've got 3 different types of order that you can do when you want to place a trade. So first, the most simple one is called a market order, and this is just that you want to place an order at the current price. For example, you put in however much quantity you want, so I want to buy 5 shares of this and I'd like to buy them now at whatever the market price is. That's called the market order. That's your bog standard. I'll have one of those please, tick. Secondly, you have a limit order, which in my words anyway is get your best price order. So if you're buying, you can try and set a really low price limit, and then if the price dips for that certain stock to that amount, then the order will be accepted and go through, but it won't go through until that price is reached. Similarly, if you're looking to sell and you want to get a really good price, then you can set a really high, so that if anyone is willing to pay up to that height of price, then your trade will then go through. So for both versions you can get a best price possible, and these prices last for 1 working day. So you can place it at 9 AM open and it will be valid for the whole day, and if that price is not reached, then it will just get cancelled and you'll have to redo it the next day. Lastly, you have a stop order, and this is the opposite to a limit order, which I just talked about, and essentially this is sort of like a safeguarding measure, and this one lasts for 90 days. So if you owned a stock, for example, and you didn't want the price to dip below a certain amount, then you could set a stop order. Let's use an example. So let's say you had a stock that was worth £500, but you didn't want it to go under 450, just using really random numbers here. You could set a stop order for 450 so that you can make sure that if your stock dipped below 450, then you wouldn't own it anymore. You could sell it off at 450 to ensure that you didn't make a huge loss on it. And this is really handy for investors that have a lot of money invested. They want to safeguard their investments and make sure that they don't lose huge amounts of money. So it can also work the other way around. If you're looking to buy one, let's say, I don't know, Bitcoin, you're wanting the price to go up by a lot, you could set a stop order for let's say 550, and then if the price skyrocketed suddenly, then your buy order would go through because you wanted to get a piece of that pie once the price had shot up. I hope these make sense. If you're buying and holding, then you're probably most likely going to use the bog standard market order anyway, but I do find the limit order quite convenient, especially because the prices tend to dip first thing in the morning when the stock market opens. I found this anyway on the ones that I'm watching. So if you want to set up a limit order in the morning so that when the investments open, when the stock market opens, then you can get a good price if you wanted to, if it's worth it. You're only going to save probably a few pence, but every little helps for some people. Alright, that is my opinions and my positives and negatives for stake. I hope you have found those helpful. I now want to take you through my investment account on my phone and just show you what it looks like and how it works. Oh, one thing I would say, it's just triggered my memory. This is another little niggle. You don't have to enter a password, or there's no facial recognition or fingerprint passcode to stop you getting into it. So someone could get into your phone and buy and sell investments for you on your behalf because there's no password protection. Just another thing to think about. Okay, so the way it works is that you use these tabs at the bottom here. So this first one on the far left is the dashboard, where it shows your investments that you have. Buying power is how much money I have available in my deposits that is uninvested. And then holdings are all the stocks that I hold. And if you go onto this button here, total, you can change it to show your total increase and decrease, or your days total and increase of your growth. So I always click total just so I can see how much I've made in the lifetime that I've had them. But if you wanted to look at how much you've made that day, then you can change it and see. So my buy on tech one here has made $6 today, which isn't bad at all. And yeah, you can see at the top under equities, and then it's got day and total underneath. So I've made 2% today, but 11% overall in the lifetime since November. Okay, so let's go on to one I invested in Moderna. It's quite cool. You've got day, week, month, year, and then 3 years at the end, so you can see the history from it. And if you want to click and hold, you can drag and see the different amounts at the different times of day. Similarly, you can do that with month and see, for example, all-time lows or all-time highs, whatever you want. And here where it says average price 89, that's the price that I bought it at. And because I only have one, that will be the price of the one that I bought. But for example, if you bought 5 shares but all at different times, then the average price will show you the average of the 5 that you bought. You can see a little bit of information in this chart. So it's got the opening price, dividend yield 0, which means you don't get a dividend for this stock. 52-week high and low is the last 52 weeks, so the rolling year shows you the high and the low, which is a significant amount, $17 to $178. And then you click on read more, it's got a little bit of, what's the word, excerpt, blurb, that's what I'm going to use, blurb, about the company. And then they've some news reports, obviously all about the coronavirus vaccine for this one. And then at the bottom here, it's got a little bit of advice. So 50% say hold. Obviously analysts aren't sure on the longevity of this stock and where they think it's going, because it's very split between buy, sell and hold here. But this is quite a nice little feature. It tells you what analysts are saying about it and whether they think it's good or not to buy or sell. Financials, to be honest with you, I don't look at this stuff, but it does have lots of different information here that you can look at. And then this little eye in the top right corner means watch list. This little eye and the second one along is my watch list, so these are the ones that I have thought about buying. And then if you click on Wall Street, this is like a shop's homepage. So you can browse products here. It shows you the chart for the S&P 500. It always shows that one. So you can get a general idea on what the market is doing that day. And this is quite handy actually. When it says opening at the top, this is opening in for US time, so you can see how long until opening time. And then, yeah, they've got these little features here of popular searches. So if I want to click on games, it will take me to stocks that are in that category, which is quite nice. You can see what other people are searching for. And then most up and most down are the stocks that have had significant ups and downs. I actually personally like to look at the ones that are most down because I feel like you might find a bargain. But you've got to be sure that what you're investing in is a good investment, because obviously that's quite risky to buy a stock that's just plummeted in price. Again, you can look at most up more specifically, so you can look at different sectors for the most up. It's more specific. If you wanted to look at healthcare that have gone up recently, then you can go into there. And at the bottom you've just got general news articles, which can be quite interesting. It shows you what's going on in the world and how it's affecting the stock market. And lots of different things. So you've got high paying dividends, that's quite a useful one to look at. So if you click on that one, what does it say? Dividend yield of 9.44%. That's really, really high, as you would expect. Yep, and they've got new ones. I don't actually look through here, to be honest with you. I just search for companies that I'm interested in myself, but yeah, that's definitely something good to browse. And then search is just searching for something that you fancy. So let's look for Microsoft. And that comes up and you can click on it, and I'm already watching it. And then lastly, my account. So Stake Black is the premium, so that's how much that costs. Oh, that's another thing to mention actually. They have a US tax form which Stake fill out for you, because you're not a US taxpayer. You have to fill in a form that says I am not a resident of the US and I don't have to pay US tax, sorry. So Stake actually fill this out for you. You just have to like select a box and say confirm, to say that you're not a US citizen, and they do the form for you. So that's good. If I click on funds and balances, I'll just show you when it says add funds. So this is what I was talking about with the express and the regular. So it's currently Sunday today. If I paid extra, I could have it by Monday 9 AM New York time. But if I didn't want to pay extra, then it would be Tuesday 1 PM New York time, which in the UK would be, what, 6 PM on Tuesday. Not the end of the world, but a little bit frustrating because you know that they can do it. So you can choose these amounts, or if you just click on the amount, you can type in however much you want and it will show you. So it will show you the cost and it will show you the exchange rate. I normally put about 100 in a month. So yeah, it shows you that would be 132.97 in dollars. Then it shows you all the money you've transferred in the last 6 months. So yeah, that's how it works. Let me just show you how a limit order would work. And obviously this isn't going to go through because it's a Sunday and the market's closed, but I can do an order. So let's try and buy something that I can afford. So let's go for buy. Then you can choose here, limit, market or stop buy. So if I wanted to do a limit buy, I'd only want to buy one, and then you can set the price. Yeah, minimum account is 10. You can't do any trades under $10. What's it say at the top? So here it says under GM, it's got bid 43 and ask 43.06. So that's the current price that That's the price that the stock was at close of day, so Friday afternoon. That was the last price that it was. So I could try and go for, say, 42.80, and that, I'd say that would probably go ahead, because I reckon it would probably dip by 20 cents. You could even put it in, say you wanted to try and get it for 42, you could put that in, there's no harm in trying. It would just sit there all day, and if it doesn't work, the price doesn't dip that amount, then it would just get deleted at the end of the day and you could try again the next day. So I do think that's a really nice feature. And similarly, if you wanted to do a market buy, you just put in 43, because yeah, and you see at the top there it says bid ask prices are most reliable during market hours, because you don't actually have a price because the market's closed, and as soon as the market's open the price will change depending on how many people are buying and selling it. So it is difficult. But I would say one positive about the time difference is that you can set these limit orders before we go to work, because it's before the market's open. So we sort of get a head start in getting limit orders on. I hope that makes sense. But because we're so ahead of them, because the markets don't open until 2 p.m. here in the UK, we can put in a limit order before we go to work, and we beat the rush. Okay, that's it. That's my video on steak. I hope it was helpful. Please do leave any comments down below, always appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Before I get into the video, I just want to do a quick mention that you can get a free stock share. Oh god, don't get a free shock.